disappearing. Well, being that I've been waiting to go ahead and speak to Charles, let me bring Charles right in. Let me bring Charles. I love tech. Well, I'm in it for the tech.
Hey, David, good to see you, man.
I'm in it for the tech, Charles. I'm in it for the tech when it works.
Yeah, well, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but you just got to roll with it. And I think we did.
Thank you for being patient. Thank you to the staff, everybody who worked hard to get this back up. I was ready to quit. I'm like, screw this, fuck it. I'm out. But Charles, nice to have you here. Obviously, I was waiting to go ahead and talk to you about what happened this weekend, which to me was, I don't care what side you're on, left, right, in the middle, purple, yellow parties. I don't really care. Uh, I don't even understand how this kid, a 20-year-old kid, got up and had 10 minutes to look at the former president of the United States to take a quality shot at him.
Dude,
I have so many theories.
He had a rangefinder. He had a ladder. He's walking around with a gun.
Charles,
I mean,
what the fuck?
Oh my God. You see the Pac-Man security perimeter where it's a circle except for the building and they cut it out. I guess Secret Service likes Pac-Man. Well, the first things first, being completely serious here, doing a lot of remodeling for all my homes. And I said, I need to make sure I have sloped roofs. It'll keep the government away. Apparently, if you have a sloped roof, the government agents can't get on your roof. It's just, I guess that's policy now. I remember the snipers on the White House roof. It's sloped, but they're on it. And the sniper nest with the counter snipers was actually at a 12% grade, not 9%, 12 degree, not 9 degree. But I guess extra slope is okay. There's like a sweet spot of slopiness for it. It just lies. It just lies. It's because there's no accountability and it's a race to the bottom and everybody's trying to blame each other. The best case scenario is they super fucked up.
Yeah.
The worst case scenario is it's an inside job. I mean, that's not a good spectrum to exist in. It's either you so royally fucked up that, should congressional investigations have to happen and a lot of people are going to lose their job, maybe go to jail. And maybe, just maybe, there was some inside coordination. It's too early to tell, but from the outside, it looks fucking terrible. There's no way to sugarcoat this. The only reason why Trump's not dead is A, he moved his head, and B, the kid didn't shoot center mass. And it looked like, when you look at the videos, that the counter sniper team, because they were in scope, they were looking, Tim Kennedy and a few others were talking about this, it looks like they had a shot, and they were waiting for approval to shoot this guy. And if that's true, the official policy of the Secret Service is you have to let somebody kill the president before you're allowed to shoot back. I mean, it's
ridiculous.
How does any of this work? How does any of this work? And then you have the Secret Service directors say, "Oh, well, I'm accountable." Except it was the police responsibility. Are you going to resign? No. So you're accountable, but you take no responsibility. You're not actually going to do anything. It's Biden administration, 101. He's probably going to step down. I mean, he's sick. Chuck Schumer visited him. Nancy Pelosi talked to him. Hakeem Jeffries talked to him. And they're like, dude, you're dead. You're not going to win this election. We need to put somebody in so that we can salvage the House and prevent a supermajority from coming through. So it's going to be rocky the next 2 to 4 weeks. And we might have a President Harris, Kamala Harris here in just a little bit. It's crazy times.
If the Democrats were smart, I was thinking about this yesterday night. I was reading a book and I just stopped reading. I was like, if they were smart, they would put Robert Kennedy Jr. in.
Oh, my Lord. Yeah, absolutely.
That would be the smartest move in the world. So now if you don't like him, right? Well, if he goes up against Trump and he doesn't win, well, you can always say, well, last minute we had a switch up, You can have that lingo working for you. Or if he wins, his policies are not that bad.
No, they would all fall in line if he got elected as a Democrat. They'd all fall in line. Like, oh, another Kennedy in the White House as a Democrat? Okay, yeah, let's roll with it. It'd be like another Bush, it wouldn't cause any problems, for them, and he would find a common ground, and I think it'd calm everybody down in the United States. And oh yeah, that's why Trump called him. It looks like that got leaked because I think his son recorded part of it and posted it. But it was a long call. My understanding is over an hour, maybe up to 2 hours, and Trump was going over a long list of different things. And there were some rumors, and I was sitting nervously here in my chair because I was hearing the rumors that Trump was going to ask him to be the VP, and I was like, "Holy God, Trump Kennedy! Whoa, that's crazy."
Would you have win for that if he did?
Oh my God, yeah, it's the dream ticket for America, because it's like we're willing to be bipartisan.
Yeah.
The Democrats have become hyper radicalized. I mean, you got Joy Reid up there on MSDNC. She's like, oh well, Biden is an old man at 81 with COVID. If he recovers, it's the same as Trump being shot. I was like, what world are you living in? Come on, what world are you living in? This is nuts. But they're so out there, and they're just so radicalized and so angry and so divisive, and they've just become consumed by their hate. So if you bring a Trump Kennedy, it's saying like, well, Trump had a come to Jesus moment. He's evolved and grown as a person because of a near-death experience, and now he's prepared to basically become a new guy and unify the nation, heal the nation, move on. It was a boiling point. And we could see that happen. So it's he picked JD Vance, which is kind of like the insurance policy. If you shoot Trump now, you get like super Trump.
Yeah.
So
yeah, for sure.
There's no going back on that one. So we'll see what happens. But if I had to bet, I think Trump has a better than 50% chance to win. I would bet on Kennedy before Biden at this point. I think he's so dead in the water. And we'll just see. I mean, 2 weeks from now, we could have Gavin Newsom or Michelle Obama be the nominee, or Kamala Harris with Vice President Gavin. They'll share drugs. It'll be great. So we'll see what happens.
To me, that would be horrible. I can't honestly, like, if they won, if a Harris Newsom ticket won, oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say I'm going to move out the country like everybody else would say, but holy shit, I'd rather have Biden.
I know. Well, the one light at the end of the tunnel is that Biden made a deal in 2020 with Elizabeth Warren to hand domestic fiscal policy and treasury policy to her in exchange for her to drop out and give him an endorsement. So Harris is not under that same death grip. So maybe she would be a bit more pro-crypto. I'm typically not this political. I know people, Cardano ecosystem, they're like, oh, well, we're Democrats and you're mean, and oh, you're a pro-Trump guy now. I'm like, guys, the only reason why I've become partisan lately for either Kennedy or for Trump is because the Biden declared war on our industry. He brought the war to us. He arrested Roger Ver. He arrested CZ. He's basically sued every major exchange. Everything's a security, no regulatory clarity, anti-clarity. And then his own party rebukes him with the SAP 121 repeal, and they still vetoes it. So, the Democrats have made a decision to have a leader who has decided that 47% of America is criminals, that the people who hold cryptocurrencies are criminals, and crypto's evil and wrong. Trump is going to speak this month in Tennessee at the largest Bitcoin conference in the United States. He's making suggestions that perhaps we should hold Bitcoin as a strategic interest currency in our portfolio. He's said he's going to pardon Ross Ulbricht, or at least commute his sentence. He's fundraising aggressively from cryptocurrency people, and he just picked a vice president who started Mithril Capital with Peter Thiel, huge crypto guy, who also holds $250,000 worth of Bitcoin. And these Democrats are living in this weird world, like, well, once he gets elected, he won't be pro-crypto. What? He's making money. He's getting political support. He's picking people who are pro-crypto. He's just going to pull a 180 after getting elected and just not do it for no reason? No, it's become very clear that the Republican Party and independents are pro-crypto. And for some reason, an 81-year-old guy with Parkinson's is dragging down the entire Democrat Party with an anti-crypto policy position, which provides them no votes, no value, and hurts our industry. If they pick a new person, it's a reset. It is an opportunity for the Democrats to get a little bit nicer to our industry. And so that's the only light at the end of the tunnel if Biden was to step aside, is maybe we'd get more sensible policy. because I don't want our whole industry to live or die based upon a coin flip of whether the team red wins versus team blue.
Yeah.
My whole view has always been get politics out of crypto. It's not an American problem. America made crypto an American problem, but crypto is a global phenomenon. It's about the economic, political, and social systems of the world. And what we want is just to be left alone. We're not asking for government subsidies. We're not asking for special laws to be passed. We're not asking for anything. We're just saying, let us just be an industry. Let us do our meme coins, and let us do our NFTs, and let us do our DeFi and dApps, and let us write our wallets, and let us just do our own fundraising and all these other things. Just let us do our thing. That's all we ask for as an industry. And then you got these guys come in, and Scary Gary and the rest of the gang, and everybody's a criminal, and everybody has to go to prison, and no one's in compliance, and everybody should be a bank now and have to get these cumbersome regulations that come in. And we say, why? What does this benefit some kid living in Detroit in his parents' basement who has $35 worth of Pepe or Dogecoin or Nike or something? What benefit does it have to go and say, well, we have to go after that? You got bigger things to deal with here. You got multi-trillion-dollar fraud going on across Wall Street. You got $35 trillion in debt. You got a war with China that's brewing. You got a lot of shit on your plate here. Do you really want to go after the $35 fucking meme coin in some kid's basement in Detroit? But that's literally what this administration has chosen to do. And I appreciate you might be LGBTQ, or you might be one of these woke activists or whatever, and you have different considerations. But understand, I'm a CEO in the cryptocurrency space. And at the end of the day, my number one priority for everybody who relies on me is to make sure that the government gets out of the way of the industry. So we're free to innovate and we're free to build things. I'm not like Vitalik going to write this huge mental construct and be like, well, we have to think about more than this. My whole reason I'm in this space is because I want to make governments irrelevant, not suck their cock and hope to God that they give me some good regulation.
Exactly.
Okay. I'm here to change the economic, political, and social systems. I'm a firebrand, always been a firebrand, and I've never once apologized for it. And that's why people like me or hate me or say I'm unreasonable or reasonable. Okay. And what you see is what you get. There's nothing to hide here. And so what I'm trying to do is just say, get out of our business. And right now, Team Red seems to be well more than aligned with getting out of our business, whereas Team Blue not only wants to get in our business, they want to hand the whole fucking industry to BlackRock. And then you say to yourself, okay, well, what did we do all this for? What was the point of the last 15 years? For my own life, the last 12 years, what was the point? If every single thing we did just went and made BlackRock a lot of money and Goldman Sachs a lot of money, that would be the greatest failure ever in American entrepreneurship for all the people here in the industry. Yeah, we made some money, but what's the point of the money? The money's going to be worthless in 10 years or 20 years or 30. We're heading towards a monetary collapse. And you think these globalists give a fuck about America? The minute that we collapse, they'll just go somewhere else with all their ill-gotten gains and pledge allegiance to whoever the next person is that's running the world. And meanwhile, we're the ones who live in squalor and have to pick up the pieces of a failed state. So no, we're not going to hand that group of people that kind of power. I'm sorry. It's not going to happen. And Team Blue wants to do that. And it's a wake-up call for all of you on the left. That's what your guy wants. So if he steps down, a new person comes in. For the love of God, for heaven's sake, if you put a new person in, put a person in who doesn't want to do that. Anybody who doesn't want to do that, find somebody. I don't care who it is. Then whether a Republican wins or a Democrat wins or Kennedy wins, then you got something. Okay, then we can make progress as an industry. We can move forward, get the government out of it. We can continue building protocols. That's always been my my political point. And people just get so incredibly caught up in these types of things, and they're so propagandized. I mean, I saw videos of people saying the assassination attempt was staged. So what? Like they just shot people? Like Trump had his own sniper up there and shot people, and
Trump was just standing there, Charles. He stood up there and he wanted to take one for the team.
Yeah, there we go. And would you be willing to roll the dice with somebody shooting your ear off?
No.
Or the bullet didn't have. Now as the teleprompter got hit, and everybody's a ballistics expert now, right? There's a picture of literally the bullet flying through the air. That must be Photoshop, right? It's just we can't even agree to live in the same fucking world anymore because the hatred is so strong. They can't conceive of a world where Trump had some bravery, even for a split second. They cannot conceive of a world where he could get up and put his fist in the air defiantly. It's not possible with their view. They've already decided who this guy is. they've already decided there's no reality or possibility that he could ever have done that. So when they see it happen, it must be staged. And you have to go and contort yourself into the pretzel of conspiracy theories to be able to get there. Meanwhile, no one's asking on that side questions like, this looks a lot like we all just witnessed our generation's Kennedy assassination.
Correct.
Only Kennedy bent over a little bit right after Lee took the shot. This is literally what we just witnessed. And in a quantum reality, if he had tilted his head to the right and to the left, he'd be dead. So right now there's a reality playing out where Nikki Haley is the nominee of the Republican Party and Trump is getting a state funeral. And the deep state's back in control. We're living in the other quantum reality. Okay, we just had our Mandela effect.
But hold on, Charles. If God forbid, obviously, you don't want to see it. And I say this all the time, like whether it was Biden, Clinton, Bush up there on stage, it doesn't matter. This is a horrific event for the United States of America to see something like this happen. So to me, if that bullet hits him and he's dead, what would have happened? Like everybody I talk to, Charles, whatever side you're on, we've agreed that civil war would have broke out. Something would have broke out.
Especially if Nikki became the nominee. I agree with you completely. There could be the vengeance candidate. They could have gone and put like Vivek Ramaswamy or something as the nominee, and then you got Super Trump, right?
Yeah.
And he has the martyrdom on his side, so you get Trump plus plus. It really just depends on what the party does, but honestly, nothing adds up about it. You got a guy who's allowed to sit on a rooftop for like 20, 30 minutes. Did you see the short selling that happened?
Unreal. I read about that this morning.
Oh, yes. So crazy. So short selling. So for the audience that doesn't know, basically Austin Private Wealth LLC put in shorts for 12 million shares of Trump's stock and 34 million shares of Rumble right before the assassination attempt. Now, Austin Private Wealth is connected to George Soros, BlackRock, and the Bush family.
That is, Charles, I was going to get, thank God you got to it, but I was going to get to that. And like, can you imagine so like, how can you not, and they'll say, oh, but that's a conspiracy theory. Like that.
They had to apologize for it. They said, oh, we had fat fingers. We put in the wrong order. It just so happened we shorted everything related to Trump and the right-wing movement right before the assassination attempt. Oh, my Lord.
Unreal. The breakdown, by the way, episode 461, live with Charles. Every other Thursday, we talk about everything, whether it's crypto, politics. Obviously, me and you both love politics. I love talking about politics. Before we move on, Vitalik, please do me a favor. I seen that. I didn't even read it. I got to tell you, I stopped at like 3 sentences. This is. I don't think he understands. I don't think he understands.
Really smart guy. I know Vitalik. I worked with Vitalik. He's a really smart guy. And the problem with really smart guys is,
could you be smart and not understand?
This is what happens when you're a really smart guy and you have beliefs. You will use your colossal intellect to construct any reality that you can to justify your belief. It's called fitting. Like brilliant physicists believes in some string theory thing, and they'll go to astronomical mathematical lengths to justify their particular string theory beliefs. Right. Ed Witten does this. So there, and he's insanely brilliant guy. He's the only physicist ever to win the Fields Medal. So you're not going to argue with him about the math because it's just like there, but it might not be right because you can build a make-believe land that's beautiful and self-consistent. And everything that Vitalik is writing, it at best case scenario is political naivete.
Yeah.
The worst case scenario, he just strongly distrusts and dislikes Trump because the thing is, I understand where he's coming from. He's been to Ukraine. He has a lot of sympathy for the Ukrainian movement. And his belief is, and it's probably accurate, that if Trump is elected, Ukraine will be defunded, which forces them into a less than optimal settlement.
Yeah.
So it's personal for him. And he knows that if Biden is to persist or somebody like Biden, there's a chance for Ukraine maybe to fight for a few more years and regain some of the territory. I think it's going to be the same situation that we were in 1968 versus to 1973, where we had a peace deal on the table with Vietnam. We decided to pass on it because Kissinger came in and pissed in the pot. We ended up fighting all the way to 1973. And then 1 million Vietnamese died as a result, 21,000 soldiers, and we spent an extra $700 billion. And we got the same peace settlement in 1973 that we were just about to sign in 1968. So reasonable people can disagree. I met with General Mattis a few months ago, and he's rah-rah about continuing funding Ukraine. And he seems to think the slippery slope thing where if Ukraine somehow loses, that Russia's then going to spill in and attack all the NATO countries and go all the way to Norway. I don't understand it. But, he's a smarter guy than me on these things. So maybe they know something we don't know. But in any event, it's like, I understand where Vitalik is coming from. If his legit belief is Ukraine is going to be taken over or lose a lot of territory, and he's friends with a lot of people there, then he's going to do anything in his power to try to rationalize the coexistence of the Biden administration. But the thing is, I'm a cryptocurrency CEO. And I live in the cryptocurrency industry, and I have people that rely on me. I have 1,000 people across all my organizations, and I have a big ecosystem that I fight for every single day. And I can't have a president who wakes up every single day saying, how do I put this industry out of business and throw these guys in jail?
Exactly.
I'm also friends with Roger Ver. I'm friends with CZ. I smoke cigars with them, hang out with them in Tokyo and Abu Dhabi and other places. They're good people. And for them to get arrested the way they have been and persecuted the way they have been by this administration, it's not okay. It's just not okay. And there's very real policy differences here. You have one president going to the Bitcoin convention and speaking and raising money in crypto. You have another one basically saying, fuck these guys, let's put them in jail. You can't say they're the same. You just can't, and I've met Ross Ulbricht's mother. I met her at the Litecoin Foundation conference years ago. She's a wonderful woman, and she had tears in her face about what has happened to her son. 12 years he's been in prison now. Biden, if he has his way, Ross will spend the rest of his life in prison. SBF gets out, Ross doesn't. If Trump gets elected, he says he's going to commute it. Of course, we as an industry can hold him accountable to that promise.
Of course.
And he has no reason not to. There's no political consequence for doing it. He's already said he's going to do it, so he's paid the political price, and it's the president's unilateral authority. So I'll take him at his word. On the first day there, you'll commute it. And then Ross gets to go home. That reason alone makes a lot of sense for me. Now, I don't have the same connections Vitalik does to Ukraine. We've had an office there in Kharkiv, and it's gone now. It was destroyed. We have Ukrainians that work for us, and my heart goes out to the conflict, and we want it to stop. But I don't see a military solution unless we're prepared to do a decapitation strike and get rid of Putin. And that's going to be a brutal conflict if we're actually going to go down that road. And there's no reality that Putin will accept Ukraine joining NATO. The sitting Secretary of State says our objective is for Ukraine to join NATO.
That's not going to happen.
It's what we call irreconcilable differences. Okay. Yeah. You can't have the kids live in Florida and California at the same time. It's not possible. Okay. You got to pick a winner here. Either they're in the bucket or they're out of the bucket. Russia says they'll go to nuclear war over Ukraine joining NATO. They'll continue the conflict and have an Article 5 issue. And I believe them because Putin has no downside for it. If he bows down on this, he will be deposed by his own people. And so he's very self-centered, as dictators are. He's going to just do that. So are we prepared to have nuclear war over this, or do we want to broker a settlement like we did in Vietnam? And so that's the thing, is that they never tell you the goals. What's the mission? Is it restoring the territorial integrity? Is it continuing advancing NATO? We've had 11 countries join since 2000. It's now 31 countries in NATO. Is it the removal of Vladimir Putin? Is it the breakup of Russia? I mean, what exactly are we doing here? Because nobody's told me the mission. We spent $200 billion. And by the way, that's so much money, David. You could make it. You can do what Bloomberg did for Johns Hopkins and do an endowment for every medical school in America. There's 185 of them. And every single person could go to medical school for free for the rest of our nation's history with that kind of money that we just put in. Every single person. That's what we just spent. We said that this is more important to our national interest than this. And they say we will win, like we did in Afghanistan, where we get back to Taliban. We will win, like we did in Iraq, where we took a Ba'ath party and replaced it with a Shia party that's now a proxy of Iran and made Iran more powerful. We will win, like we did in Libya when we replaced Muammar Gaddafi. We will win, like when we did the Red Line in Syria, and we said they can't do this, and Bashar al-Assad is still in power. Yeah, there's a lot of we will win there, man.
Seems like they don't.
I'm feeling it. I'm really feeling it, right? Or we will win in Egypt, right? Like when we got rid of Mubarak and new guys on in. It's like you just go down the fucking line. It's an empire of ashes with these guys. They just don't have a clue on foreign policy. They talk big and they kill a lot of people in the progress. I think more than 500,000 people have died on the Ukrainian side. And if this war continues, another 500,000 will die. I heard General Petraeus describe it as Blade Runner meets All Clear on the Western Front, All Quiet on the Western Front. It's like trench warfare with drones. It's a new war, and it's a horrible war, and it's a meat grinder. And the Russians are using mercenaries, which means they don't feel domestically the pain of the war. They send PLA people, they send Africans, they send Indians, they send Dagestanis and all kinds of people there. They fight for a few days, they die. They send the next wave, they fight for a few days, they die. They're using Chinese money for this, that they're trading natural resources for. They could do this 10 or 20 years. And they're using old Soviet era equipment, which they stockpiled billions of, while they were planning to kill us for 70 years. Meanwhile, we're using HIMARS and we're using very expensive US equipment that costs tens of billions of dollars a year to field. So when you fight a conflict like this, eventually one side runs out of resources. We're the donkey in this respect. And so unless you're prepared to escalate and give them even more advanced weapons and do decapitation strikes and actually have US forces engaged, like no-fly zones. Okay, so what does that mean? Our fighter jets are going to shoot down the MiGs and these other things. So we're going to have US warplanes shoot down we'll have Ukrainian pilots in them. Oh, okay. So you can just manufacture fighter jet pilots overnight. Okay. Oh, sure. And even if you do, like, it just doesn't make sense. It's just another example of what happens when you don't have leadership. I run my company and I'm the CEO. Buck stops with me. Correct. I make a hell of a lot of decisions every day, and you run your company and you're a CEO. The buck stops with you. Okay. Things good happen, things bad happen. There's no one running the United States of America right now. It's just a bunch of bureaucratic tribes doing whatever the fuck they want to do because the guy at the top has dementia and he's not able to run the fucking country. He doesn't even know the name of the Secretary of Defense. He just
you watched
him the black guy.
You watched that?
Oh my God. I appointed Secretary of Defense, the black guy. They might as well at the DOD website just replace Lloyd Austin with the black guy. I mean, come on, literally, come on.
And people will say that that's an edited clip, right? No, it's not, ladies and gentlemen. It's not an edit. Are you surprised, by the way, of how all like MSNBC, CNN? By the way, Van Jones had a comment yesterday. He goes, Trump was, I think it was Trump got shot at, continued. Biden got stopped by a virus.
Yes.
Like, even the Democrats are throwing this man under a bus. I feel bad, Charles. Honestly, at this point, I just feel bad for Biden. Like, he is, they are rotten. Like, no disrespect. Like, I would say this about any of these parties if they did the same thing.
I know, it's crazy. It's just crazy. And again, why do we care? We care because this administration declared war on us. If you don't have a good leader come in, those bureaucrats that are doing it, they're not going anywhere. They're going to keep prosecuting that war on crypto. You need somebody to come in and fix it. You have to fix it.
Do you think the pick for to bring on JD Vance was part of that solution to, because he's very well educated in crypto?
Yeah.
Do you think part of it was like, hey, I'm going to bring in somebody that knows and understands crypto, understands the landscape of crypto, understands finance and tech?
I think crypto was a second order consideration. So when you look at JD Vance's background, he's a Rust Belt dude. And what his job is to do is just go to Pennsylvania, go to Wisconsin, Michigan, Ohio, and just campaign in those states. If Trump wins those states, the election's over. So he picked a guy that is an effective communicator, who's young and vibrant, who can go and work 16-hour, 18-hour days for the next 4 months. Good fundraiser because of Mithril Capital and his connections, Peter and all the other guys, and is going to be loyal to the cause. And Vance is a very bright guy. He went to Yale Law School. He went there with Vivek. They're really good friends. Their wives are super good friends. And he just knows everybody in the kind of the next generation. And what Trump is saying is like, this is the heir apparent to MAGA. When I get old, I'm going to leave, and this new guy's going to come in. He's going to be 43 years old, running for president. That's one of the youngest presidents we've ever had. and he's going to carry that torch. And intellectually, he's capable of doing it. And he couldn't make a better guy in a lab to run for president. He's got the hillbilly elegy. It's a Ron Howard movie. He grew up dirt fucking poor. He was a enlisted guy in the Marine Corps. Went to Iraq, even though he was a combat correspondent. It's like, who cares? He served, right? He's a Marine, and he's an enlisted Marine. That's different than being an officer. It's like, yeah, he's one of the common guys. And then he uses the GI Bill to go to Yale Law School, and then he goes through a series of life experiences that gets him to the Senate. And he's one of the youngest senators ever elected in Ohio. And so there's a lot there that's vibrant and exciting. And he had the most important quality, which is he's really good friends with Don Trump Jr. They hunted and they had all this stuff. They know each other really well. Their wives are friends. And so every day Don was like, you got to put JD in. You got to put JD in.
You think this was Junior's call?
100%. 100%.
Was it the same way that it was Junior's call to bring in Pence?
I don't remember if Don Jr. was like the big Pence guy, because they needed to pick an evangelical to clean up Trump's, kind of non-record. And Pence was like the compromise there. Like he's vanilla. There's nothing about Pence. I mean, he spent 4 years with his head up Trump's ass, being like, the president is so amazing in every way. And the only time he ever did anything independent was the January 6th thing. And then the party just disposed of him because he's like got anti-charisma. He goes into a room and he absorbs other people's charisma. It's like a supervillain, the anti-charisma. But he's a decent pick for reinforcing the base, and it shows you how confident Trump is. He was actually, before the shooting, more likely than not going to pick Doug Burgum as absolutely. We knew, because Burgum was heavily vetted. Trump had bought a wrap, Trump Burgum, for his plane. He bought 3 wraps, one for Marco Rubio, one for Vance, and one for Burgum. And Burgum filled out all the questionnaires and was on the trail with him, visited him while he was in the trial in New York. So all that stuff was, going on. And Burgum is exactly what you'd want as an operator. He's a Stanford MBA. He sold his company for $1 billion to Microsoft. He's a businessman. He's very laid back. He's not flashy. And so Trump gets to be Trump and be the face of the administration. Burgum gets to be like a silent executor to go and try to keep order in the chaos of everything. And who knows if he's going to get to the presidency or not, but he's a custodial VP and he's non-threatening. If you pick a guy like JD Vance, you're picking the future of MAGA. You think your election is almost a certainty. So you're not worried about the VP really making a big difference. What you want to do is reinforce what you got. So you pick a guy that could be an effective messenger for that, and you hyper localize him to 4 different states. And if he pull it off, he's going to win. So it's a bold choice, but it's not like a Sarah Palin choice, which is catastrophic, like in the case of McCain. Sure. It's a thing that can work if he threads the needle right.
Do you think if the reins obviously the reins will probably be handed over to him, do you think he makes Vivek his VP?
No. Vivek is going to either be the next senator from Ohio, because he also lives in Ohio, and they may have already made a deal about this, or I think he'll be Treasury Secretary. I think those are the two different roles that he's really aspiring towards and his people are looking towards. I've been in contact with his people. One of these days we'll do a podcast or something, and I'll just ask him, off the record, like, hey, where do you want to go? Like, presidency's pretty high up there. You're pretty young. We're both pretty young. We're both born in the 80s. We're Reagan kids. So we got time, so where do you want to go? This place, but he has a bright future. Vivek will be, he'll have a shot. He'll probably be a Republican nominee at some point in the next 20 or 30 years for the presidency. It just, if you're in your 30s, you got to wait your turn. You get to be flashy and it gets people's attention, and they'll throw you a bone, and the bone will either be the Senate, a governorship, or a cabinet position. And then you can show them what you got, and then you cook for 4 to 8 years there. And, then you get the nod either as VP or you run and you win. This was DeSantis's problem. All he had to do was just sit in Florida and be a good surrogate. And he probably would have been the VP under Trump, had he not run. And then he runs and he just spoiled the whole thing. DeSantis was another one of those guys made in a lab to be president. He's a Little League baseball champion, played baseball at Yale, did the Harvard Law School. Then he was served in the Navy, and it went to Iraq. And Then he's a congressman. Then he's the most successful governor by election politics in Florida. Like he got reelected in a landslide. It's like, dude, you're young. Wait your fucking turn, and let this thing play out. You'll be in the cabinet or you'll be the VP, and then you're a shoo-in for 2028 because you'll get a Trump endorsement or something like that. But he didn't want to wait, and he went against the king. And as we've seen with Trump, if you're going to shoot at the king, you don't miss, man, because he comes up with the fist, and you're done. Oh, I can't hear you, David. I think we may have lost the audio.
No, I'm here. That picture, by the way, will go down as one of, it has to be one of the greatest pictures in U.S. history of him now getting up, and the video itself, him chanting fight. And, I don't even think he's thinking at that time. Like, I think it's just pure adrenaline that's pumping and just like fight. I'm watching this. I'm like, why isn't the Secret Service moving him?
Because
why are you allowing him to stay up there? You don't know how many active shooters are around trying to take him out. Like, you're allowing him to do all this. He's telling them, hold on, I want to get my shoes.
So the thing about you're a New York guy, right? And I used to live in New York for a little bit. There are these guys in New York. They're just tough sons of bitches.
Yeah.
And people make this mistake about Trump thinking that he's this scumbag, pathological liar, piece of shit. And that might be true. But also he was a New York real estate developer during the age of the mafia. Okay. Yeah. He built substantive things in New York during the age of the mafia, which means you have to be a really fucking tough guy.
Yeah.
Okay. He probably sat in rooms with his dad in his 20s and his 30s and 40s where they weren't so sure if they were going to get shot in the back of the head by the Gotti family or something like this. Okay. There's like a lot of stuff that happened there. Okay. This is how New York real estate works. There's a lot of that concrete. They can't chip it up because there's bones in it. So this is where this guy comes from. You have to be real sharp elbowed and everything. And it's just the New York way. And so you shoot at him. Of course he's going to get up and pump his fist. He's not a coward in that respect. And he's never been a coward. He's a fighter. It's every bone of his body. They convicted him. He's been charged with 93 crimes. You got the Supreme Court to give presidents immunity. I mean, this guy just fights, and he likes fighting. It's a New York thing. It's you just like to fight.
They don't understand. Like when I'm on Spaces, they don't get me. When I say I'm from New York and we're built a little bit different.
Yeah.
Well, like, what do you mean? It's the same. No, it's not the same. It's not the same. No. There's a little bit. You got to have thick skin to be in New York. Yeah, Donald Trump, you make that, like you sit back, yeah, he's a tough son of a bitch.
Yeah.
He has no give up in him. And I see people saying, oh my God, Charles, you've gone away from Robert Kennedy Jr. No, he hasn't. We're having a conversation. You guys don't.
I still endorsed him. I'm still with him. I'm right. Kennedy is the remedy. I'll ride it all the way to election day, and I hope he wins. I talk about politics at a broad lens.
Correct.
And, political reality changes on a week by week basis. There could be like an orphanage that catches on fire. Kennedy swims through a river and saves the orphans from the burning building. And then, now we're all talking about Kennedy.
Correct.
Stuff happens. Things go up, things go down. There could be a major scandal with Trump that we're not aware of. That, although at this point, unless it's like a Donald Trump Ivanka sex tape, I don't think anything can hurt him at this point. I mean, he's pretty much Mr. Teflon.
What do you think about Elon? So now Elon is going to send them $45 million per month. And also, apparently he's going to appear tonight. There's rumors swirling that he might make a guest appearance along with Hulk Hogan. I don't know how Hulk Hogan...
Because Trump and the Hulk are friends. They've been friends since the 1980s. You got to remember, Trump knows Vince McMahon really well. They've been friends for a long time. And Trump's actually I think he's the only president ever to be in WWE.
Is that because didn't he put Linda, during his administration, Linda McMahon?
Yeah, I think she was somewhere in the administration. Yeah. But Vince has been, and so he knows everybody. He knew Macho Man, Randy Savage, and the Hulk, and all these other people. And I think he's going to have Hulk Hogan introduce him for his thing. And yeah, Musk has been invited, and there's rumors that Musk is going to show up. That's transactional with Musk.
Yeah.
I mean, what the fuck do the Democrats expect? You take the richest man in the world, and then the DOJ investigates him and SpaceX for not hiring citizens when they're launching highly classified satellites, spy satellites, where they're not legally allowed to hire non-citizens.
Yeah.
You got the White House hold electric vehicle conferences and disinvite Tesla.
Unbelievable.
Got them pass subsidies for electric vehicles, but only do it for unionized, which means Tesla doesn't get any subsidies for this stuff. And then you got Biden publicly say we need to investigate Elon Musk over Twitter. So what the fuck are you doing? You're poking the bear again and again and again and again. Don't you expect at some point he's just going to, because he's got $200 billion, for him, 45 million is not a lot of money. Just start cutting checks and sending it into the right places. Because, like $200 million strategically placed in those core 4 states could make all the difference. It's about 3 to 5%, and the Democrats can't match that kind of money right now. Their donor base is drying up under Biden. Although, any given Sunday, if they pick a new candidate, they might be able to do that. But this is an example of fuck around and find out. Politics has consequences. And if you really piss off a powerful person, they don't forgive or forget, and they'll wait for an opportune moment, and they'll kill you. Bill Ackman ran into this with Carl Icahn. You remember, speak of New Yorkers, right? The whole Herbalife thing. And so Ackman and Bill and Carl, they had a deal that they did together. Carl kind of screwed him a little bit. Bill sued Carl. Bill won, and then Carl never forgave him for it. So the minute that Bill was doing a short on Herbalife, Carl shows up and fucks him, and Bill loses $1 billion. And there's a very famous YouTube clip where Carl calls it up, and he's like, "I like Herbalife," and they're arguing over CNBC. But that's what billionaires do. They have the luxury, because of unlimited resources, to hold grudges for a very long period of time. And so you have to be very strategic. Do we really want to make this person a permanent enemy? Because at the end of the day, Elon, if Trump wins, is going to get tens of billions of dollars government contracts. Twitter is going to be secure. He's going to lock that asset down. XAI is going to get a bunch of government contracts. And also, his enemies are going to be punished. Meta is going to be hit hard. And Zuckerberg is going to be hit hard. Google is going to be hit hard. Microsoft's going to be hit hard, because they basically work for the Democratic Party. And so it's just business for him. It's strategic for him. And if the Democrats wanted it different, why did you alienate him? Why did you politically attack him? Why did you go after him every fucking day? You don't like the rockets? You don't like the electric vehicles that you're all asking us to drive? You don't like Neuralink restoring function for quadriplegics? I mean, honestly, guys, what the fuck do you want? You say again and again all the things you want, and your guy comes in, and what does he do? He's innovating and pushing America forward, helping our space program. You get 1 million birds a year that die from wind turbines, and then 9 birds die in fucking from SpaceX's Starship launch, and it's front page news. What are you doing? Of course, this guy is going to get deranged and angry. And what is he going to do? He's just going to give a giant pile of money to Trump and probably have Trump win. Peter Thiel did the same fucking thing in 2016, and he got a lot of payout for it. And that was mini-me versus Elon Musk. Elon Musk 100 times bigger than Peter in terms of his remit. You also weaponize one of the largest social media platforms in the world against your political party. Why would you do that?
Correct.
It makes no sense. So now there's a conservative outlet, it's X, and everybody can speak freely and sculpt any narrative. When Trump gets shot, your mainstream media, a man falls down, Trump falls down, Secret Service escorts him out. And then on X, they're like, in 3 hours time, they know the name of the shooter. They know all this shit. They go through the whole thing. That is a direct product of what these guys, they're reaping what they sowed.
Are you ready for the headlines?
Yeah.
Here we go with the headlines. I was blown away by the headlines. The New York Times, Trump hurt but safe after a shooting.
Can't use the word assassination.
Weird, right?
Yeah.
Forbes comes out with an article, states, will surviving gunfire be Donald Trump's next appeal to black voters?
It's all transactional.
The Sunday Denver Post, gunman dies in attack. The New York, the Times.
Oh no,
I'm still here. Don't worry. Let me get the battery.
Yeah, in the Denver Post, I saw that on Sunday because I actually had a copy of the paper. They said in the subtitle there, Trump claims to be shot in the ear.
How crazy is that?
Yeah, it's just crazy. And again, people are so propagandized and they get so riled up about this stuff. And at the end of the day, it's like, if you want political progress, you just do it yourself. Change the state laws, invest in protocols and systems. That's why I'm in the cryptocurrency space and not in politics. If I wanted to run for something, I'd win it. I have the money, I have the charisma, I could get it done. I could be a senator or a congressman or a governor, take a little bit of time, clean up a few things here and there, but Dave, I could get it done. But what I want to do is change the fucking world. And how you change the world is you change the economic, political, and social systems of the world. And what we're doing with the cryptocurrency space is we're getting sound money, secure voting systems, and we're allowing you to own your own identity, which are the most foundational concerns of a society. And without them, you have nothing. And right now, they've all been handed to multinational corporations you've never known or seen. So all I care about politics is, I don't really care who the guy at the top is. I meet them all anyway. What I care about is that they stay the fuck out of crypto and let us do our job and let us change the world and let us get things done. And it really pissed me off, this administration that got into crypto and fucked it up. And I just want them to get the hell out of it, and so that we can get back to the business of putting things back together. Because I don't break people down into groups. I don't look at people as Republicans and Democrats. I don't look at people as gay or straight or this color, that color. I've been to 73 countries. I've lived in almost a dozen of them. I'm above partisan politics. I don't care about them. They don't matter to me. I have dinner with Democrat senators. I have dinner with Republican senators. What I care about is, are we making progress on the economic, political, and social systems? And are we improving them every single day? And what holds them accountable, and how would he put things together? That's the core of it.
Trying to get my camera to back to this is, I gotta tell you, oh my God. I don't think they want me to speak on here anymore.
Yeah, I know, right? We only got a little bit more time before they kick us all off.
I wanted to ask you, hold on, where am I? I'm here. Okay. I wanted to ask you, so you said, I was just listening to you. You said, if you would you ever run?
Well, it depends on the position and where I'm at in life, but I have no intention. I'm 36. I love being an entrepreneur. I do AI, I do synthetic biology. I got a clinic with 8,500 people, and we're doing regenerative medicine. We're actually just about to roll into an FDA trial for a stem cell hyperbarics trial for reversing aging. We think we do it in 10 years, reverse age by 10 years. Yeah, so we'll see where that goes. Obviously we do all the crypto stuff. I'm a bison rancher. I got a good life. And, when you go to politics, what happens is you basically sign up for half of America hates you. Regardless of what you do, what you say, half of America hates you. And now we're in a politics where they actually can try to shoot you, and half of America is angry that they missed.
How crazy is that?
Yeah, I know. So why would anybody go into politics? If you can change without using politics, it's better, because the only people that are attracted to that are people that can't have power or influence any other way. And they end up becoming very narcissistic. We get what we vote for, and we get what we support. Even just looking at the comments here on the site, you got people, like this Captain Spaulding guy or these other people in your comments, and look at what they're saying. Oh, Charles is this, Charles is that, Charles supports Trump, or Charles does this. It's like, are you listening to the substance of my words here? I'm saying our industry didn't care about any of these politics until somebody from the political side decided to get involved in it and cause grievous harm. Are you denying that happened? That the Coinbase lawsuit happened, that the Kraken lawsuit happened, that the Binance lawsuit happened, that the SEC says everybody's a security? Are you denying that Custodia got denied a master account? Are you denying that all the bank accounts are being shut down with Operation Chokepoint 2.0? Are you denying that there's a war on crypto from the United States? Or are you saying, despite all of that, you just don't care? Okay, well, I care because I'm a member of this industry, and I have to fight for this industry. And I've made it very clear I'm a single issue voter, because that is my job to care. It's not transactional. It's what you do. If you're a doctor and somebody goes after the healthcare industry and completely unravels and destroys the healthcare industry, maybe, just maybe, you'd have a grievance there.
Correct.
If you're a farmer and somebody comes in and says, I'm going to shut down all the farms and turn them over to some mega corporation, and BlackRock's going to own all the farmland, maybe, just maybe, you have a fucking grievance there. Well, guess what? 47% of America owns crypto now. It's about half. And I'm fighting for all of them every single day. They have every right to buy what they want to buy. They have every right to use protocols that we want to buy it. And the reason why I fight for them is because, guys, this is the technology of liberation. You want honest politicians, you want honest media, you want sound money, you want to get Google and Facebook and Microsoft out of owning all of your data and your identity. You want to get decentralized infrastructure and not have somebody tell you how to live your life from cradle to grave. That is crypto. So if I get the government out of it, we can build that and we can take our power back and our agency back. And then you don't have to rely on the most important election of our lifetime, which we hear every 4 fucking years. And literally it's the same conversation. If the person I don't like wins, Hitler has just been elected and democracy is over.
Correct.
It's the same conversation. Aren't you fucking tired of it? Aren't you fucking tired of it? At what point do we stop this goddamn madness? At what point?
Something happened 15 to 20 years ago, or maybe 15 years ago, something changed, Charles, with the way that this is a new era of politics. Like I don't know, like I didn't see so much hate when Reagan was in office, or even when Clinton got elected, and like when Bush got elected, there wasn't so much hate. It wasn't. You can have disagreements on policies and the way, people conduct business. But now you tell somebody that you voted for Obama, you tell somebody you voted for Biden, you tell somebody you voted for Trump, you tell somebody you're thinking about voting for, Robert Kennedy Jr. Oh my God, you lose family members,
right?
You lose friends. I'm telling you right now, I've been so actively posting on Twitter about Trump and how we need him to win because, hey, I want crypto to be great again. I do. I want to see this industry thrive. We've been suffocated, bottlenecked. You just talked about it. Coinbase, everybody getting hit with fucking lawsuits, man. Who the fuck wants to stay here and operate? They've left to Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia, where they're fucking saying, come here. You can operate here. You can build here. The quality of life is great here. And the cost of living is nothing. Come to Portugal, come to Spain. We're losing our greatest innovators to other countries, and they're reaping the rewards. Why the fuck do I want to vote for an administration that has choked us out completely?
Yeah.
And you guys in here, like, you're in crypto. You're in the comments. I usually don't read the comments, but you're in the comments. You guys don't even you're in crypto 24/7. 24/7. You were wealthier. Hey, take it for what it is. You were wealthier when Trump was in office. Biden's come in. He suffocated everything. Okay? You're in crypto. You want crypto to be great, and you want to vote for Biden. It doesn't even make sense. I don't even understand what your viewpoint on life is.
Because again, David, what they've done is propagandize people. The people in the comments are not real people. They're NPCs at this point. They've become victims of propaganda. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They basically say orange man equals Hitler. And it's so crazy. They say you're a threat to democracy. We will be a dictatorship. World War III will happen and millions of people will die. But we don't condone violence. But then at the same time, punch a Nazi. Punch a Nazi. You can punch a Nazi. Would you kill Hitler? We should kill Hitler. If you could go back in time to 1932, would you shoot Hitler? Of course, kill Hitler. Trump is Hitler, but we don't condone violence. We don't want violence.
But where's all the people that he killed?
Yeah, I know, right? We're the death camps. We lived 4 years of this, and it's just, he's a man. He's got good parts. He's got bad parts. You might disagree on the balance of good and bad, but he's just a person. Wake the fuck up. Grow the fuck up. The reason why there's so much manufactured hate is that he's one of those guys outside of the club. And it's very scary when you're a deep state. It's really scary to have a guy outside the club because he's unpredictable. Maybe just maybe starts talking about Epstein. Maybe just maybe he starts releasing the stuff on Kennedy, the JFK assassination. Maybe just maybe, he'll start declassifying certain things that the president's allowed to see that normally the guys in the club don't do. Because what does he have to lose? If he loses this election, he will spend the rest of his life in prison. That's it. You look at the convictions. There's just one after another. They'll just keep trying him with crimes. He'll spend at least 10 or 15 years in prison if he loses this election.
Charles, did he need this life?
No, of course not. He stepped into it because he's just got angrier and angrier. He's playing golf with Rush Limbaugh and all these other guys. And he just said, hey, fuck it, I'm going to run. Nobody thought he could win. Nobody thought he was serious. And what they didn't understand is he's not a human being. He's a symbol of resistance against a deep state. And the deep state is not left, it's not right, it's not Republican, it's not Democrat. It's a globalist order. It's always been since World War II. Okay. And these guys, they overthrow nations, they assassinate people, they fuck with elections, and it's a war machine. Okay. It's why all the people end up looking exactly the same. They talk exactly the same. Obama gets elected. You expect this guy to be magical and change everything. Then suddenly he puts the Federal Reserve in charge of it. He puts all these people in charge that are deep state swamp creatures.
Yeah.
Biden is a deep state swamp. It's got so bad you can put a guy with fucking dementia in as president and things still run. If it was a real organization, everybody in the organization would be 25th Amendment. We got to get rid of them. But why is it for 4 years they've hidden the mental decline and the inability to run things? Because the president's not in control. On paper he is, but there's a different order that exists there. It's why I don't care about politics, because it's like caring about a rigged football game. Are you a Broncos or Seahawks guy? Well, if the game is rigged, who the fuck cares? We already know there's a predetermined outcome and it has no bearing. Okay, it's a rigged game. So crypto is the escape hatch, because once we take our money back, we take our voice back, we take our identity back, more people that get into it, they can't control it. The protocols are incorruptible.
Correct.
That's why I care so much about crypto. And I don't care about the most important election of our lifetime. Oh, guys, no matter if Trump wins or Biden wins, it's not going to have any impact at all on where America's headed. It'll have some wedge impact. It'll slow certain things down or speed certain things up. But the deep state is the deep state, and they wait people out. And we just saw this weekend that they can kill people too.
Correct.
We saw that. And it just, or you have to believe they're so hyper incompetent, and contort yourself into weird pretzels to say, well, they're just super bad at their job. Wow, just so many coincidences.
I don't believe that.
Jill Biden shows up in Pittsburgh the same day, takes all the tier 1 Secret Service people. So they have the temp Secret Service people guarding Trump, and then they don't give them any additional resources. They try to take his protection detail away. They don't cover the obvious vantage point. The guy's allowed to be on the roof for 20 minutes. The snipers have him in their scopes and they can't shoot him. No one's allowed to confront him. They don't even take the president off the stage, even though they know there's an active shooter threat. Dude's walking around with a gun and a ladder, and people are pointing, shouting, "What's this guy? Who is this guy?" Police officer confronts him. Nobody calls over the radio. We have an active shooter issue. Guys, the level of incompetence there is so far beyond belief. And it's either they're just the worst in the world at their jobs, or if you give them good faith in their abilities, it's basically deep state trying to kill the guy and replace him because they're so scared of the consequences of this. And it's the same for Kennedy. They denied him Secret Service protection until just recently. There were already 2 attempts on his life. One person dressed up as a U.S. Marshal, had a badge and everything, 2 guns on him, shows up, almost got through. But Bobby's got Gavin DeBecker. So Gav's a great guy. He's a really smart guy, really good security guy. So they were able to stop him. But if not by the grace of the fact that out of his own pocket, he was paying a security detail, he'd have probably been shot just like his dad.
It's crazy.
Guys, they always tell you who they're scared of, and this is what they do. And we don't really have as much of a say if they want us to believe. It's all predetermined in that respect. And so crypto comes along. It's the thing they can't control. That's why I say stay out of crypto and let us do our job. Because you know what? Let's say I'm wrong. Why is sound money a bad thing? Why is your ability to check that your vote was accurately counted a bad thing? Why is your ability to have your own identity and get your privacy back and own your own data a bad thing? Why is it a bad thing for you to pay lower rates on interest? Why is it a bad thing for remittances to be near free around the entire world? Why is it a bad thing that you don't need a bank account anymore and you can conduct global business and you don't have to live with high bank fees? Why is it a bad thing that we don't need Google or all these other big oligarchs running every aspect of our digital life and that we can run on protocols instead? Why is that a bad thing? Why do you fight that? Because that's the I don't believe in conspiracies and deep state is not a thing viewpoint. And if you do believe in the deep state, you believe we defund them and take them out of power and deal with it. Either or, no matter the outcome there, it seems like we end up actually in a pretty good place as a society. Yeah. Or are you so trusting and so deluded that you think that no one's lying to you, that everything's accurate and the world's happy and we're all running in a good place and everything looks wonderful. We just lived through COVID, man. I sat in fucking restaurants where I stand up and I have to have a mask on. I take it off and sit at the sushi bar and it's densely packed. And that's totally trust the fucking science. We lived through that.
Trust the
lived
science.
through it.
Trust the science.
I know. And we lived through that. You lived through that. We all lived through it. We saw it with our own two fucking eyes. And then they just made it up. 6 foot social distancing. Yeah, well, why not 8? Well, why not 4? 6 seemed right. We roll the dice, 10-sided die. It came up 6. That's the social distancing. There we go. You had kids playing in high school bands where they cut a fucking hole in their mask to play their instruments.
So
what are we doing?
What is the point?
What are we doing? It's like, what are we doing, man? You live this. You all listening people, you live this, and set the brainwashing aside for a moment. You are not in control of your lives. And crypto is the first time ever in human history where the masses have a chance to be in control of their lives.
Correct.
That's why I'm a single fucking issue voter. It's not about money, you idiot. It's about everything. It's about every part of your life. Do you want to be in control of it or not? And you have to look in the mirror and answer that, because I think there's a lot of people that don't.
They
that's
don't.
Why.
I think growing up in a centralized system with the news being so programmed and the primitive way of them, educating this entire society. God forbid you question anything. I'm not the biggest fan of Alex Jones, but I remember this one episode that he had where a woman flew in from another country and they go into an airplane hangar and she goes, I can only stay here 5 minutes, but they're going to release a virus. And this virus is going to take over the entire world, not just the United States, but the entire world. I remember watching that video going, this guy's crazy, man. This has to be some setup. He's looking for clicks and all this stuff. What happens? The same exact thing she talked about. COVID-19 is released onto the world. So sometimes you can't call everything crazy. And like you guys in here, man, get your heads out your asses. Sometimes it's okay to listen to people that have a difference of an opinion than you have. That's all. That's all I can say. Charles, man, holy shit, you are. They modeled you after ChatGPT. I say that all the time, but I believe that to be true. Sam probably sat with you. They did the whole.
Sam, I want to save the world, but I drive my $5 million Koenigsegg and live my $27 million mansion. I just own it, guys. If you like your luxuries, admit them, but don't go out there and be a bleeding heart liberal and say, "Well, we just want to live pauper life," and then you're caught driving around a Koenigsegg.
Mr. Non-profit who went profit.
I know. It's the hypocrisy that kills me. That, David, that's the thing that just it eats at my soul. It's like, just be yourself. And take the hits. If you're going to live one way, you live the other way. You just take the hits and just let them roll. And don't take things too personally in life. You got to have a thick skin about all this. You're going to be a public figure. Expect the fact that at any given moment, people are going to criticize you a little bit. But you got to be passionate about things. And I wake up every day and I say, okay, what are the problems? Because I only have so much time. You only have so much time. And maybe it's a long spectrum. Maybe it's not. But, you say, what problems can I solve in my lifetime? And so the most fundamental problem to me, since I was part of the Ron Paul movement back in 2007, was sound money. Because if your money doesn't work, all of society fails. It's a capitalist society. It's just, it's axiomatic. So I'm trying to get sound money in, and crypto is at an inflection point where either it goes to the bankers and it's going to die, or it goes to the people, in which case we get sound money. And then a lot of these other things are self-resolving because people get power. They can fight back. They have a voice.
Correct.
And then it's not one guy, it's a movement that's pushing it forward. And then there's plenty of other things I'd like to solve. Like, I'm deeply concerned about AI. I'm speaking at an AI conference next month, AI4 in Las Vegas. It's August 12th to 14th. And it's a great conference. Like 5,000 people are showing up. They're having it at Caesars. And they got Geoffrey Hinton showing up, who's the guy who invented the Transformers, like a gigabrain, super smart dude. So I'm going to be talking about, well, how do we actually decentralize AI? Because I'm deeply concerned that truth is not only controlled by the media and the academic institutions, but now the generative AI, which every fucking kid under the age of 12 is just going to view as an oracle of truth is going to basically be biased in a particular direction.
Do you
So
think AI needs to be regulated, Charles?
well, that's the thing. It's like they're going to use regulation to ensure that only one version of truth is told. It should be regulated and aligned using blockchains. The same thing for blockchain governance, whether it be Polkadot and OpenGov or Cardano's governance system or Tezos's governance system, where you have a decentralized way to kind of converge to a state of understanding. You can do the exact same thing with an AI constitution. Anthropic wrote this lovely paper called an AI constitution. You can take that concept and you can put it into a blockchain system, and then nobody gets to control truth. I am deeply uncomfortable with the exact same people that are shoveling billions of dollars to Joe Biden and friends to basically have a monopoly on generative AI. And every picture, all audio, and all text generated follows their alignment protocols and all these things that they believe. So here's the thing, is like, you say, oh, what's the point? Okay, 5 years from now, 12-year-old kid doing a homework, and they say, read a report on Donald Trump, and they go and they enter it in. It's like, Trump staged his shooting. AI will just tell them, or something like that. That's truth now, right? The kid believes it. We know children; they're very malleable people, and so if generative AI is built in the wrong way, an entire new generation of people will be indoctrinated, and they'll basically be taught the magical God oracle that is AI is never wrong, and anything you see there, just believe it at face value. The critical thinking skills completely disintegrate. So it's the challenge of our time, and it's the ultimate propaganda tool if it's in the wrong hands. And if you're on the other side, would you feel comfortable with Donald Trump being in charge of your AI alignment and Truth Social being the AI alignment? So why
No.
are you so comfortable with the left then doing it? Why do you think that's okay? The whole point of blockchain is get people out of the shit
Correct.
and decentralize it, use math wherever you can, and federate it wherever you can. So that's another thing I'd like to work on, and we're starting to gear up for it and get a deeper understanding. We're engaging with people, but this is why blockchain is so powerful, because at the very same thing gives you sound money, can also govern a resource, computation and data, to allow you to create a ChatGPT competitor that is as powerful or more powerful, but completely open and free and unregulatable from a traditional sense, because it's just a giant network, and you can't go past some European AI doctrine or something like that, where you give God mode to a small group of regulators you've never met, you don't know, and they can go and surgically change things inside of it to, give you your multiracial Nazis and, all kinds of other things like Gemini's running into. It's not okay for society to go down that road. So that's another fight, I really want to have and clean up. Another thing I like to do is on the defense industry. I own a Black Hawk helicopter.
Yeah.
I actually have 4 of them technically right now, although I'm trying to offload 2 of them. I promise I'm not an arms dealer yet. but military procurement is one of the most corrupt and nepotistic things I've ever seen in my life. I would love, like Endural's doing, to get involved and change that entire system and build things that are low cost and very effective for us, because we can't afford what's going on. $1 trillion for the F-35 program, and it's a failure. And they go to the Senate and they say, well, we actually now need to go to 6th generation fighters. With the F-35.
Hold on. I think Charles experienced the same thing that I've experienced. It's okay. We work through it. Hey, Charles.
Yeah, we're shooting some truths here. That's why they keep
I'm
knocking us
telling
off.
you,
Yeah.
Charles, I'm not even kidding with you. For the last few days, I've never had so many problems with tech in my life. I really haven't. And I literally made a post yesterday. If you see my account if it's taken down, well, you know why.
Yeah, and it's going to happen to us. It's not a matter of if, but when, and unfortunately, you just got to roll with it. I've always lived with the assumption I'm going to be deplatformed and imprisoned within 12 to 24 months, because we're touching things that are controversial, and my belief structure is that there are deeper powers in the U.S. government, and they're not nice people. And when I go and say I'm going to rebuild the money system, the political system, the social system, I say I'm probably not long for this world. And if I'm wrong, okay, but that's just the way it is. But it's worthwhile because we all die, and why live with fear? And why live with the fear of the boogeyman and the unknown? Just go and do the damn thing. That's what I've learned from every great entrepreneur, every great leader, every great general. They're fearless people, and doesn't have to be even, some grand leader. It can be your local fireman, rushing into a burning building. It can be a nurse who works 30 hours straight in the ICU because a pandemic hit and they have all these dying patients and there's nobody to relieve her. It doesn't really matter who the person is. Humans have a capacity for bravery. And when we have the luxury of these microphones and an audience and capital, we have an obligation to be brave and to go out there and be uncomfortable and face the unknown. And I see so many problems in America. And what I'm going to do is spend the rest of my life going and trying to fix them because I'd like the country to continue to be great. We're the country that kind of invented the modern democracy. We're the country that kind of invented the modern constitutional rights. We were the first to really be serious about things like freedom of speech and separation of church and state and these other foundational concerns. And as a result of that, we created the internet. We went to the moon. We did some amazing things as a nation. And everybody's telling my generation and Gen Z, the generation after it, basically our best days are behind us. America is in decline, and we're all just going to become slaves to China or some globalist order. You'll own nothing, eat nothing, shut up and eat your insects. That's literally what they're telling the kids.
Exactly.
And it's being reinforced by every piece of media, every institution. We had a pro-America movie come out, it was Top Gun Maverick, and every critic attacked it. Made $1 billion in the movie theater. Why? Because Americans are hungry for media that says we're the good guys. Yeah, we do bad stuff from time to time, but why in God's name did we accept that we're the bad guys when the other guys are the ones who invade Ukraine? And the other guys are the ones who have camps in Western China. And the other guys are the ones doing ethnic cleansing in Africa. The other guys are in Yemen doing horrible things. The other guys are all around. We're not doing that, okay? As bad as America can be, we've not done that. And I do appreciate horrible things have happened historically in the 18th and 19th century. Guess what? All the people who did those things are dead. And they've been dead for a long, long time. These are things that are happening today. And the people doing those things are alive and they're in power. That's the fucking difference. Yet a regressive philosophy has infiltrated the country and it's come around and it says to everybody, oh, well, we're exactly the same. And everything is wrong, and let's all be cynical, and everything's systemically this and systemically that, and we're all bad actors and bad people. Believe in the best in people, believe in the better part of people and their nature, and fight for it, and show people that we can actually achieve something and accomplish something. I woke up in 2015, I said, let's go build Cardano. There was no one there. It's just me and Jeremy. You know what? Now it's millions of people. I'm here in Colorado. We just had the interim constitutional committee training. There's a whole on-chain government that's turning on. We're running an on-chain constitution. There's DREPs. There's a constitutional committee. We have the most sophisticated and comprehensive on-chain government system ever built for a cryptocurrency. It takes liquid feedback and combines it with constitutional representation and a litany of other things, including algorithmic governance. It took 2 years to conceive and design. It's the brainchild of thousands of people around the world from more than 50 countries. And we did that. And if it succeeds, we learn, it gets even bigger. We take that, we can take those principles and do a constitutional convention in the United States. We can take those principles and change the way government works for corporate governance and for state governments alike. There's no difference between these things. Just people making decisions. Are they effective? Are they efficient? Or are they high integrity? That's how we spend our time. And it's not sexy. It's not easy. It's really hard. Every day you wake up and there's some fucking problem that happens. There's some issue that happens. You work through it and you have to push through it. It's like being an ER nurse or an ER doctor. You don't know who's going to go through those front doors. It could be, a 20-year-old guy. Oh, I swallowed a pill and it's crooked in my throat. It could be some dude comes in with a gunshot wound and he's bleeding into his heart. This is any given Sunday. And you know what? No matter what the problem is, what do? You triage it. You say, we're going to solve it. We're going to figure this out and we're going to do our best job. And sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. You show up tomorrow, no matter how bad Monday was. That is what makes America special. We have so many people in this country who come from all around the world. You can't find a country that hasn't made an American somewhere. And they show up and they do their fucking job. I have a construction company in Gillette. It was -40. Pipes broke. People showed up, -40, to fix pipes. And you know what? It was their job. They did it. When we thanked them for it, but you know what? They fucking showed up. That's who we are. And every day, every place you look, there's people that do it. So David, I hate it so much when people get cynical and they say we have no agency in our lives. If you don't have agency in your life, that's your fucking decision. If you think you can't, or your life is controlled and you're helpless, that's your decision. Fucking own it. You have decided to make yourself a slave. You decided to take your human agency away. The entire point of the cryptocurrency industry is we took our balls back. We took our power back. We're back. We want our money back. We want our voice back. We wanted our identity back. I am not comfortable with a small group of people I've never met, I've now have no influence over, basically telling me how I'm going to live my life for the rest of my life. I'm not okay with that. And if you're okay with that, fine. I guess that's where we have our disagreement. But if you're not okay with that like me, this is the only bus to get on, guys. It's the only bus to get on. Because what else you got? You're going to vote your way out of it? The 81-year-old guy with dementia is going to solve the problem. The 77-year-old guy who's got permanent skin tan, his orange color, he's going to get you out of it. He's going to figure it out. He's going to sit there in the White House and magically put it together. He's going to be a master of artificial intelligence. He's going to outsmart Sam Altman. He's going to outsmart all these people. He's so smart. He's so capable. He's going to pick the right people. 40 of the 44 people in his cabinet didn't endorse him. Not exactly doing great at picking people. He might slow it down. He might make them have to change their strategy and tactics. Okay, great. But it's not going to change the fundamental reality of the system. They rigged it against us. And so you got to change the game if you're going to win the game. And crypto is the answer. That's why I'm a single issue voter, you dummies. That's why it means everything. It's not number fucking go up. I don't need number to go fucking up. Haven't for a while. I was in Bitcoin before $1, you idiots. It's never been number go up. For me, it's been, can we use this technology to change the very fabric of society? And if we can change the very fabric of society, can we make it for once in human history fair? For once in human history, everybody gets a seat at the table. Isn't that what we're supposed to do? Isn't that what we wrote down in the goddamn Constitution and the Declaration of Independence? Isn't that what we said? Aren't we just trying to honor the thing that was the social contract? You know, to quote Joe Biden, you know, the thing? Isn't that it? And if it's not it, then what do you stand for? Your own pathetic survival? Scraping by some money and hoping to God the government gives you another fucking handout so you can live yet another day and then blame somebody else for it? Make your fucking bed, grow up, and realize you have agency, and this is the one window we're going to get. And if we lose this window, guys, it's over. We will lose our agency. They're going to read our thoughts, read about cognitive liberty. It's coming. You know, Nikita Farahani, she wrote a book about it, The Battle for Your Brain. They're going to get into your genes, called gene therapy. It's going to happen in the next 10, 20 years. They're already in the food supply. They own the mass media. They control all the flows of information. They own AI, which is going to take your fucking job. Your blue-collar robots are going to take your fucking job. Don't for a goddamn moment believe that these are nice people and they wake up every day saying, how do I take care of you? They don't care. You are expendable. Look at how they treat Joe Biden. I thought he was God. I thought he's great. He's the great hero. And now every single one of these people turned on him. Fucking Nancy Pelosi, she's known him forever. Chuck Schumer, known him forever. Supported him forever. Wakes up and says, oh, you got to step down, Joe. We can't win, because it's just about power for them. It's about transactional relationships with them. They will throw away anybody and kill anybody to ensure that they can stay in power and keep things going. It's who they are. The right is exactly the same. If you don't believe me, where's Nikki Haley? I remember when she was running against Trump. He's a threat to our democracy. He's terrible. I am the voice of reason against Trump. And she shows up groveling at the RNC. Donald Trump is going to be a great president. I thought 4 months ago he's an existential threat to the integrity of the United States of America. Now you're there kissing the ring because you want power. That's what politics is about at its core. So why would you entrust people whose only pursuit in life is power to take care of you from cradle to grave and worry about your kids, worry about your health, worry about your education, worry about your livelihood, especially when they can make decisions to screw all of you to enrich and empower themselves. And then you got crypto, and crypto's here that says, hey, you for the first time in your life are your own bank. You for the first time in life, you own your own identity. And then you say, oh, well, no, that's just crypto, though. That's just number go up. That's just my meme coin. That's all that is. But there's all this other stuff I care about. For heaven's sakes, wake the fuck up. Make your bed, wake the fuck up, and realize this is your shot. You, Gen Z, you millennials, if you want control of your life, this is the way to do it. If you don't, okay, I understand and appreciate you've lost all your agency. But when you wake up in a dystopian hellscape, you're the one to blame. That's just it. Accept it.
I'm not gonna lie. You know, I usually get fired up, but you got me fired up with that. That right. I'm clipping that, and I am sending that out there. That is what you guys need to. If you are not in this room today, if you're not watching this live stream, if you're not watching the breakdown episode 461, sponsored by Gemini, powered by G Media, where we have Charles on every other week to go ahead and talk about crypto, politics, everything that's going on in the world today, you are fucking missing out. I have not said a word because I wanted to sit back and just be a sponge at this very moment. That was very passionate. Seriously, you should run for. I know you go out there. I know you go out and unlike these other son of a bitches that say Bitcoin and everything else is crap, you're out there fighting for crypto, and that's one thing that I can go ahead and appreciate. You know, we don't have to agree on everything, but I agree with you on most things. We don't have to agree on everything, but one thing that I truly thank you for is going out there and fighting for this fucking space that I am in love with, man. And I truly understand, and it's not just number go up for me either, man.
Right.
It's not just number go up. I appreciate your time. I know you're busy as hell, Charles, and I appreciate you sat through all the delays and stuff. They're trying to take me out, Charles. I'm telling you right now, I have no intent of ever committing suicide. Just putting it out there.
Right. David didn't kill himself, guys. We're going to mint that NFT. We're going to sell it. It's going to be great.
Charles, it's always a pleasure. I can't wait to get you back on. Obviously, we'll dive into the newest news that'll come out in our world in the next 2 weeks.
Yep. All right. Well, thank you so much for having me on. You know, after this election, I suspect we'll probably be less political. Everybody's pretty radicalized at this point. But I love crypto and I love the community. And thanks everybody for listening. I hope people understand the passion comes from a place of a desire for everybody to live a better life. At the end of the day, even the people who disagree with me and hate me and think I'm a horrible human being or crazy or some sort of partisan hack, I don't care if you understand or not. We're going to take you all along kicking and screaming for the drive. You know, we just want the world to be better. And I'm just getting tired of waking up every day where it's a little worse. You know, I think we all are. And there's no reason for that. We can fix it. We really can fix it. And that's what we're doing. And there's a lot of great developments with Cardano. There's a lot of great developments in the industry as a whole. And there's events like Rare Evo, for example, next month that I'm going to, or the Foundation Summit. And I'm traveling to 11 countries actually in the next 120 days. So it's going to be a whirlwind tour. And I'll see a lot of people from everywhere from Brazil to Abu Dhabi to Singapore to Japan. So I hope I'm able to carry the good word to all those people. A lot of speeches, a lot of things to do. But I've never been more optimistic. As cynical as things can get, we are making very real progress. And that's why the rhetoric is getting so polarized, because it's based on fear. We're winning. And that gives me hope. And so I'm glad I got this platform on your show. It's one of the most popular and best shows on crypto. That's why we're here and not on Bankless or these other things. And, you know, it's good to be here, David. And you have, as I said, the best staff in all of crypto too. And I can't wait for the next 2 weeks.
Thank you, Charles. Looking forward to speaking to you. Thank you very much. You got everybody energized. I don't know. You got to replay it back. You got everybody fucking energized. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you, sir. Cheers.
Have a good one. That was Charles. Whoo! Oh my God. Oh my God. You know, Charles said something. He said, it's not about just number go up. That was that means a lot because like I've been in crypto for a long time and and I say this all the time and people probably, they probably laugh, but it's not just number go up. It's not. This like crypto allows us to gain back our freedom and like that is super important. That is very important. And to have somebody, like I don't know what it is. Charles is misunderstood by a lot of people. But if you listen to him, if you just give him a listen, he's done a lot for crypto. He's done a lot for forget it. Take away Cardano. I'm just saying he's done a lot for this space. He has. And if you guys would just take a second, forget about just this show, but if you just take a second to listen to him speak and get to know his background, you would understand that, man, we need more people like Charles in their positions to step up with their platforms to make sure that our future, our kids' futures are good and safe. And they have opportunity, equal opportunities to be successful in life. That's something everybody should step back and look at for a second. I'm not saying it's not important to make gains either. It's great to make gains, man. But at some point, you get enough gains to the point where like you stay here and you want to make a fucking difference. You want to build things that make a goddamn difference. Period. Welcome to the breakdown, episode 461. I don't even know, honestly, like I was listening for the last 5 minutes of Charles' talk. And not that I didn't listen to the whole, our whole conversation. I always enjoy having a conversation with Charles. But to listen to him, that last five got me energized. The last 5 minutes of him spitting facts, because I believe those were facts, spitting facts and just speaking from his heart. For me personally, that shit got me fucking fired up. That shit got me fired up. That to me, that is leadership. And you don't have to agree. Like I said, you don't have to agree with everything that is said. You don't have to agree with everything that is said. But that's the type of shit. That's the type of shit that we need. That is the type of shit that we need. These are the type of leaders that we need. And stop being afraid to speak your mind. The last 4 or 5 days, my account has been reported, the people have attempted to destroy my account based on my views, whether it's crypto and especially whether it's politics. My account has been, I am telling you, limited, hidden. We don't have to, honestly, we don't have to share the same beliefs, but we can sit at the same table and talk about them. What are you trying to do by eliminating me off of this platform? You're trying to take me off of the X platform because I don't share the same opinion as you? What are you going to try to do in 2028 if I decide to run for a position, a certain position in the United States of America? What are you going to try to do then? $20 years ago, 25 years ago, I'd never believe in all the shit that is being put out there. After COVID, I believe everything. I question everything. You should question everything. Everything. Every single thing. There is absolutely no way that for 20 minutes, with people screaming in the crowd, that Trump should have been on that stage, or the shooter should have had that opportunity. 20 minutes to aim his weapon to try to assassinate the former president of the United States of America. Period. That's bottom line. That is bottom line. So, love crypto. Love the speech today. Crypto's great. The market, I'm not even looking at the market. This is a long-term game. Long term. We are building. Charles said something that I say every day. I don't care about these institutions. The only thing that these institutions will do is market Bitcoin better to the general public, because we couldn't do it ourselves, because we do not know how to work with each other. That is bottom line. If we knew how to work together, like in the beginning, when Bitcoin came out, and you had a bunch of OGs that worked together towards the same goal, we'd be on another level. We wouldn't even be concerned with institutions. Somewhere 5-6 years in, we slowly started to have mutinies happen. The Bitcoin maxis claim that they can market Bitcoin. They can't market shit. Bitcoin was created to get us away from the same people that do not want you to have any sort of opportunity in your lifetime. They want you serving. They want you working at McDonald's. They want you to have that corporate job, sitting in that little cubicle, working that 9 to 5, and getting 3 weeks vacation every single year. And you to just be good enough and accept that there might be opportunities where you can advance in said company. They do not want you to be an entrepreneur. They do not want you to go ahead and have your eyes open to see the world for what it is. They want to keep you stuck in this little bubble, kind of like the Truman Show that they have created for all of us to participate in. Now, if you want to stay in it, have fun. I don't. The Matrix, to me, was a documentary. It wasn't a movie. It was a documentary. Period, said and done. I'm glad to see more people in the crypto space, especially in the crypto space. Shout out to Ryan. For having the balls to go out there and speak his mind, regardless of the unfollows, and for his opinions not being popular with his own staff and his own community. Because I said the same shit already. I don't give a fuck. You continuously tell me to accept your opinions, but I have an opinion as well. So if you're going to make me accept yours, you're going to accept mine. And we can have talks and we can debate on the issues. But if you feel like you can't, unfollow me. I don't give a shit. I don't care no more. If you guys get to the point that X takes me off their goddamn platform, I'll go onto YouTube full time. I'll go onto Rumble. I will find a station to talk. Trust me. I will make videos. I will push them out daily. You will not censor me. G Media was started on the premise of never to be censored and to bring crypto education, the start of it, bring education, crypto education, to the forefront. And we will continue to do that. Even though we have evolved, we will continue to do that, and there will be nothing you can do to stop it. I'd like to go ahead and read the quote of the day. I'll read the quote of the day to you, guys. This is how I leave the show. By the way, I want to say I appreciate everybody who tuned in. Thank you very much. I appreciate you all. It seems like we're growing every single day. We are growing every single day, and we are going to be unstoppable because our voices will be heard. Just remember that. All of us in here, whether we agree to disagree, our voices will be heard, though. We can play on the same team. We don't have to agree with each other, but we can be and play on the same team. The one thing I think we can agree on is that crypto is very important. I think we can all agree on that. And that we have to do everything possible to work together to make sure it succeeds. And that the blue collar worker, the retail person, gets that opportunity to get in and to change their lives. And it's not where 80 to 90% goes back to being run by the institutional players. Let me read the quote. I'm looking for the quote. Here it goes. Ready? I like this. And I think you guys will like this as well. Oh, you guys, some of you guys are too young for this shit. Fuck that. A man who knows how to battle will win many battles. But a man who knows when to battle will not lose a single one. And I'll say that again. A man who knows how to battle will win many battles, but a man who knows when to battle will not lose a single one. And on that note, thank you so much for tuning in. Shout out to, again, Charles. Me and Charles talk at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every other Thursday. We touch on everything that's happening in the world today. Shout outs to Gemini. Thank you, Gemini. Sign up to Gemini. Love Gemini, the greatest exchange in the world. Gemini, maybe it's time. Ada, I don't know. I'm just wink, wink, putting it out there. And shout outs to G Media, man. If you're not following at Gokhshtein and at Gokhshtein Network, you're doing yourself a disservice. We also have fantastic media personalities that cover this space. And especially for some of you guys here with Ada, they definitely, somebody like Julie and somebody like Josh, they definitely consistently cover Cardano. I've been a huge Cardano fan since it's come out. You can go back and look at my tweets. Been a huge fan. But I have a lot more respect for Charles now. I have a lot more respect for Charles now. I love the fact that he's super open about all topics and he just doesn't give a fuck. And I like people that just don't give a fuck. Episode 461, powered by G Media, sponsored by Gemini. I'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday. Guys, get outside, get some fresh air. 30 minutes won't hurt you. Do some normal things. Like I did normal things. I scratched my knees and elbows when I was a child. I say hello to people. Don't be weird. All right. I can't find my mouse pad. Everything. They try to take us out. They try to take us out. Anyway, bye. See ya. And then once the Trojan horse gets in, everybody pops out. We must protect this industry. This is some fucked up shit. We'll have some other topics, right? When we have some other topics to talk about, will we have some other one cameraman here, and the light here? Like, can you not blind me here on that?